Hi guys, so where we left off, we have our elven little object which can move left and right, jump and fire a slingshot. Now we need to add a little bit more components to our game. So we're going to add a barrel object now, and this barrel is going to start randomly at x5, x10 or 15 in one of the lanes, and it's going to approach the player from, I don't know, about 50 coordinates away. And it's going to be the player's objective to either jump over the barrel or switch lanes and try to dodge the barrels. So let's make that game object.
Main game object. Drop add game object. Name K-B-K-A-R-E-E-L L-E-E-R-E-L
Barrel. So what we're going to have now in this barrel object is we're going to have we're going to set its delay.
What there? BX by B delay edit selected 0.
And what we're going to do in its periodical event is we're going to have it change its Z coordinate and decrease the Z coordinate each delay. So if we make this delay 0.1 and we change the Z coordinate by 1 in the periodical event, that means that that will essentially change 10 times a second. And if we want it 20 times a second, we'd change that to 0.05.
1, 5.
I might have to play around with this value a little bit, but I might leave it at that for the moment, 0.05. That'll give it a fair bit of speed.
Use event creation. Event list periodical. Event creation.
Well, the first thing we also need to do is we need to make it play the barrel noise.
Add action. Add open. Set TT plex plus. Use set and play audio. New sound. Sound edit. K-A-R-R-E-L 1. New action. Add action button.
So now as soon as it's created, it will play the barrel noise. What I'm also going to have is I'm going to set a couple of global variables random, and that's going to determine which lane this barrel spawns into. So it's always going to have the same Z coordinate.
Edit 0.
I'm going to set that to about 50.
0.
So if our player is at 0 and this is going to be starting at 50, it should take, with the current delay setting, it should take about 2.5 seconds to get to us. So with that, now we need to
event creation, event periodical,
have it start decreasing its Z coordinate.
Delete add action. Add open. The position indicates subtract net. Z decrement edit black 1. New add action button.
Okay. So that will subtract Z by 1 20 times a second. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to check if it collides with the player, with Elvin.
Event periodical. Event combo collision. Add action. New open. Line up moves position. For loop big condition begin. Selected.
Okay, so we're in the condition collision event at the moment, and I'm going to add a condition in here to check if it's colliding with Elvin. And we do that by
condition settings grouping variable combo box L collapsed,
where we would normally set check for a variable that's rather local, global or constant. We're actually going to check for a col variable.
GC col,
and col essentially just means checking for a collision.
Edit blank.
And so where we would normally put a variable name, we're going to put the name of the object that we want to check for collision with.
Caps lock on E caps L V I N operator combo box equals collapse.
And we'll keep the operator as equals because we are checking that there is a collision. If we change that to anything else, it will check if there isn't a collision.
Use submit. Used if list if currently colliding with Elvin object. If currently colliding with Elvin object.
Brilliant. I think we will make a barrel hit object. So
if new add action. New open. This create object. New game object. Cap B K A R R E L T Submit button.
So we're going to make a barrel hit object. We haven't made that object yet, but we're going to create it now in the collision event.
Submit. If create a barrel hit dot that object.
So if colliding with Elvin, create barrel hit object. And what I'm going to do, I have the barrel hit object do, is essentially destroy all other objects and play a little collision sound, and then end the game.
Add action pressed. New game. Open. Play. Report condition end. Submit. Add action if if move. If new if list if currently colliding with Elvin object. Create a barrel hit dot that object. End if.
Okay, so we now have our barrel that starts playing its rolling audio, moves towards the player, or at least downwards, 20 times a second, and then when it checks for a collision, when it collides with something, it checks, is this collision Elvin, and if it is, create a barrel hit object. So we'll make the barrel hit object now.
New submit. Stream view into the barrel. Barrel 5 object loop audio.
And loop audio on the barrel as well.
Object properties grouping loop audio. Make add game on. Name edit cap B cap A R E L space cap H caps lock I T.
So what barrel hit's going to do is it's just going to play barrel hit, and then on its audio finished, remove all objects and just create a main menu object again to essentially start the game back from the beginning.
New add action. New action. Play audio. New sound. Sound edit cap B cap A R E L space caps H caps lock I T volume 1. New add action button.
So on creation, play barrel hit.
Play open. Button audio finished.
Then on audio finished.
Add new get. Used set audio in set TTF position clear all objects.
Clear all objects.
New submit add action button. Use new add action. Pressed. Open. This create object.
And then create a main menu object.
New game object edit. Black M cap A N cap M cap E N U. Game add action. New game object. Add
and
action.
Then destroy self.
Pressed. New action. This select new add action but delete all other game objects. Create a main menu not that object. Destroy self.
Brilliant.
Cat submit. Stream view barrel 5 of 8 level 1.
The one thing I've realised that I've just done wrong is the barrel audio.
Here used events list. Play list. Play barrel at 1 volume.
We actually want that to play barrel positionally.
GDE script.
So I can actually change that in the GDE script. I'll just change the command in the GDE script.
Edit play barrel 1. Play form GDE play barrel 1.
Play A is the command for play audio.
A.
Play
P O S
A. So play pos A is play positional command.
Play submit. So GDE script play barrel positionally at 1 volume.
Okay, and that being said, we also need to set the listener. This is the game's ears.
Elvin. Preview barrel 5 of 8 level 1. Add action.
And we'll just set that in Elvin's creation event.
Add action. Open. For loop end. In set roll off factor. Set listener. Select you submit. With add action button. You right pressed.
Okay, brilliant. So now the other thing we need to do is we need to set a variable to say when Elvin is jumping. And also when the barrel collides with Elvin, we need to check if he is jumping to ignore him, essentially.
Edit.
So I'm going to make a global variable now to keep track of that.
Edit in global variables. New variable, numeric name.
And I'm just going to call it is jumping.
Caps lock I, caps lock off, S, space, caps lock off, J, caps lock off, U, M, P, R, N, G, value, edit blank, F, A, L, S, E.
It's going to be set to false to begin with.
Submit. So new variable button, is list, is jumping, value, false 1 of 1. Global, add used in the menu select Elvin.
Okay, and then on Elvin.
Tree view, LS up pressed. Used events list, creation not selected, up pressed not selected.
We're going to add a set global variable is jumping to true, and then on audio finished we'll set it back to false.
Add action. Sonus open. Position indicates the current vertical position and can set global variable. Variable edit. Cap I caps S space caps lock on J caps lock on U M P R N G. Value edit T R U E. Menu submit. Used it. Set global list. Pause audio on Elvin run not selected. Set global variable is jumping to true. Drop the copy actions.
And we also want to put that in the button 1 press.
Button 1. Used
In
events
this
list.
game,
Button 1 pressed.
1 do the same thing.
Report played. Paste action. Used events list. Create audio finished. Audio finished.
And then on audio finished,
Drop paste action. Used
we'll paste
events
the
list.
action in again.
Creation not select. Set global variable is jumping to true.
But this time
List.
we'll
Set
edit that
global variable is jumping to true.
and change it to false.
Drop edit action. Value edit. True. FALSE. For submit. With list. Set global variable is jumping to false.
Okay.
Set global variable is jumping to false.
And now all we need to do is on the barrel object, check if jumping is true or false.
But let barrel. Tree view. Period collision. Used events list. Collision. If currently colliding with Elvin object.
So what we'll do is we'll nest another condition within that condition. So it will check first if it's colliding with Elvin, and then second, is Elvin jumping.
Create a barrel hit dot that object. List. Create an action. An action. Open. For the and where is the condition begin. Selected condition begin. Condition settings grouping. Variable. Copy.
So we're going to check for a global variable.
Edit blank. Caps lock I. Caps S space. Caps lock J. Caps U M P I N G.
And this time we're going to check that it does not equal true.
Not equals. Condition set open. C.
So check variable C for constant.
Condition settings grouping.
And
Edit
variable
blank.
is value is true.
TRUE.
So if global if global variable is jumping does not equal true.
You submit. With use end if it lit. Move action up button pressed. Create list. If global variable is jumping does not.
Add another end if on the bottom. So this is now
currently
the complete event.
colliding with Elvin object. If global variable is jumping does not equal true, then create a barrel hit dot that object. End if.
And there we have it. The last thing we need to do is check periodical.
Used events list periodical.
What we want it to do is if it gets below 0, essentially, it's Z axis, so if it comes towards us and then gets past us, we want it to destroy itself.
Add action. Open. Click condition begin. Variable L.
So variable
cap Z.
So check local variable Z, knowing that it will be its coordinate.
Operator equal operate
less than.
Check open. C. Condition settings. 0.
So if Z is less than 0.
Submit. Used events. So open. Ask destroy self. Submit. This anak pressed. So action. Open. Position. Resume more. Condition end. Submit. Action. Use it list. Subtract Z by 1. If local variable Z is less than 0, then destroy self. End if.
Okay. So now we have a barrel object that should come towards the player, and we should be able to jump over it. Now what we need is an object to make the barrel object spawn.
Creation. Used events list. Creation. Not selected.
We're going to make that first, and then we're going to come back to the barrel object and set where the barrel spawns in which lane. So let's
main game blank. Name edit blank.
So let's make an object now called obstacle controller.
Caps lock off. O. Caps lock on. O. O. Caps lock B S T R C A L space caps C cap O T O L E R.
So we now have an obstacle controller, and what that will do is we'll make a periodical event of 1 second.
SN delay 1 selection removed.
We'll probably tweak this in later videos, but this will just get something happening.
Event queue open. Event this periodical.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to set the a random variable to determine which lane we start the barrel in. So periodical, every 1 second we will set
Add action.
a random variable.
New open. Position. Set TTS volume. Position indicate. Add set random global variable. Selected set random global variable.
Yes, so we will
variable
have,
edit blank. Caps lock S caps W N.
so we'll have an object called spawn x.
Caps lock X. Caps lock off. Min value edit blank.
Actually, we don't want that.
New variable.
We're gonna have a local variable.
Action. Position. Active set random local variable. New action variable edit. Cap D.
We're just going to have a local random, a local variable called rand that we are going to set to something between 1 and 3.
New min value. Min 1. Max value. Max 3. Add action button.
And the reason for that is because there are 3 lanes. And then what we're going to do is straight after we've set that local variable, we are going to check if rand equals 1, set spawn x to 5, meaning the first lane. If that random variable equals 2, set spawn x to 10, meaning the second lane. And if rand equals 3, set spawn x to 15, meaning the third lane. And then in the barrel's creation event, it will set its x to whatever spawn x is.
Use the new add action. Pressed. New clear unload click condition begin. Sit cap open. GL. Condition settings group cap D. Operate check variable combo box LGC. Edit blank what new add action pressed. New get open. Subtract set global variable. New variable caps S caps lock P A W N caps lock off X caps lock off value edit 1 new add action pressed add action open decrease audio condition end add action if list set global variable if local variable rand equals 1 set global variable for next to 1 end if
so I want to copy that.
If it ends delete copy action if load set if cop set if drop paste action list if ends if local variable run set check my name edit submit if set global variable for next to 1 set drop edit variable value new game
what I'm
object
doing right now
list,
very
set
quickly
global, if
is just changing the copied actions just because it's easier than typing straight out.
if randomly set local variable rand to between 1 and 3. If local variable rand equals 1 then set global variable for next to 1 and if local variable rand equals 2 set global variable for next to 2.
I've just realised I've
if
made a
local
mistake
set
here.
global variable for next to 1.
We want that to be 5, 10 and 15.
Drop set form edit action. Submit. If set global variable for next to 2. Set edit action. If value edit 2 0 for sub list set global variable for next to 3. Set edit action. Value edit 3 what 5 4 if randomly set local variable rand to between 1 and 3. If local variable rand equals 1 then set global variable for next to 5 and if local variable rand equals 2 then set global variable for next to 10 and if local variable rand equals 3 then set global variable for next to 15 and if
okay, brilliant, that should do. And then we need to, at the end of that, we need to create a barrel object.
Add action. Open action. Add list create object. Game object 10 cap B cap A R E L. New with add action button.
So it will create some random variable. It will then check what that variable is, and if it's 1, 2 or 3 it will set spawn x to 5, 10 or 15. The barrel will then be created, and then we're going to make the barrel check what spawn x equals, and it will set its x value to whatever spawn x equals. We also need to just quickly make that global variable that we've been messing around with.
Submit. Tree view barrel B edit drop global variables list new variable new variable caps lock on S caps lock off P-A-W-N, caps lock on, X, caps lock off, value, edit blank, 5.
We'll set a value default of 5.
Submit. New variable button.
So that will be its starting value, but it should be changed as soon it should be changed when it's used anyway.
Close. Tree view. Barrel 5 on used events. Mess barrel kit.
Okay. Next thing is the barrel.
Barrel. Menu creation. Used events list. Create play barrel positionally at 1 volume.
And the first thing we want to do is set X to spawn X and then play the barrel positionally.
List. Delete add action. Add action open. Set X. New X coordinate edit. Caps S cap P-A-W N caps lock on X caps submit. Sub add action set move action up. Move set X to spawn X. Move action down but list. Set X to spawn X. Play barrel positionally at 1 volume.
Okay, and now we just need to make sure that we create the obstacle controller with the rest of the game objects. So we want to create the obstacle controller when we create Elvin.
Main menu. Tree view. Barrel 5 on 9 level Elvin. Menu selection. Menu select down press button 1 press. Used events list button 1 press down uploader. Tree view. Menu selection not in creation. Use the destroy self. Creator Elvin dot list. Creator Elvin dot that object. Create so add action. Use create object. New game object. Game new game object. Caps lock cap S T R C A L space. Caps C cap T R O L E R.
Create object obstacle controller.
Create obstacle controller not that object.
Okay, that should be everything that we need.
Sona file. Save project. Save on yes. Pressed. Dialog OK. Sonus GDE v2.1.8. Add action button.
So we
load audio from kit play off run.
We can give that a go.
Add action button.
Loading.
Debug mode. Close debug mode button.
We're loading.
One. Dialog becomes OK. That object.
Okay, unfortunately that broke the game because it was reporting an error every time of not being able to find the rand variable because we forgot to make it. So back onto the obstacle controller and onto local variables.
Variables. Only add name. Caps lock on R A caps lock off A N D value 1 remove new submit add Mac close create a F file drop save project. Yeah, pressed dialog set global variables for next to 15.
Hopefully this time it'll work. Okay, we ran into another little issue because it was trying to play the barrel audio that it couldn't find.
Elvin loader. Tree used events list creation.
And the audio is called barrel roll, and I think I've tried to play something else. So let's go to the barrel object.
Barrel. Tree view material creation. Play barrel positionally at 1 wall. List. Edit action.
We're trying to play barrel.
Space caps R cap O L L.
So add roll onto the end of that, and that should
submit. List used events. File save project. Yes, press. Sonus GDE off run. List. Loading. Play barrel roll positionally at 1 volume. Debug
Start
mode. Debug mode.
We're loading.
1. D.
And I ran straight into it.
Loading.
Debug mode.
Start game.
Well, that didn't take me long.
1.
We're loading.
Try again.
A. D.
Loading. Loading.
I'm not very good at my own game.
Close the debug mode. 1.
We're loading.
A.
Loading.
Okay, so
Start
Debug
game.
Sonus GDE v2.1.8 list. Play barrel roll positionally at 1 volume.
it works but needs tweaking. Also, I've noticed that we can get hit multiple times before it eventually clears, and that is because of the barrel hit audio finished.
Barrel hit. Tree view. Use audio finished. Used events list. Creation not selected. Audio finished not selected.
So I think what I actually want to do is I want to take that, delete all other game objects in the audio finished, and put that actually on the creation.
Delete all the list. Copy action. Delete action. Delete event. Periodical. Copy paste. Event. Combo box creation collapsed. Destruct creation. List. Delete all other game objects. Play barrel hit at 1 volume.
So that should be a little bit better. I also think that it's quite hard to tell the barrels if they're left or right from you, so I'm going to tweak the reference distance on this one.
Elvin. Tree view. Up prep set listener.
So where I've set Alvin to the set listener, I'm also going to add another action to change the reference distance.
Add action. Open. Apply. Set roll off. Set reference distance. Select new ref distance. Ref 1. New submit. Add new set reference distance. Add move set reference distance to 1.
So what the reference distance is that's essentially how far away an object has to sound until it sounds like it's next to you.
Sonus run. Move action up button. Close debug mode button.
Reloading.
Debug mode press Sonus GDE v2.1.8. Move action up button.
Okay, they sounded, we only just really heard them when they were straight on top of us. So
set
that really
reference
needs
distance
tweaking.
to 1. Drop down menu.
It might also be worth actually changing it so
Drop down. Edit. Form edit action.
That's 2.
Move action up button.
I think I'll also change the barrels and make them start further away as well, because they get into us very quick.
Barrel. Tree view. Z. 8. Dialog. Use Z. Dash. 0.
Set them to 80, we'll try that.
Object
Loading.
properties grouping. Z. Edit. 80. Debug
Start
mode. Close
game.
debug mode button.
Reloading.
1. Debug. Close debug mode.
Oh dear.
Press Sonus barrel. Tree view. Barrel 5 of 9 level. Obstacle control. Barrel hit 7 of 9 level 1.
Definitely needs tweaking, and I'll probably do that off camera, but the concept completely works. We just need to make it now better on the user side. So I'll start looking at making it sound so we can definitely hear distinguishable when it's from left and right. Other than that though, that's the barrel object done. And then we need to do the fire object, and we also need to do the frog object. The fire object can't be jumped over, and the frog object needs to be shot or avoided. So we'll get onto them on the next tutorial, and thanks for watching.